Good day, ladies and gents. Professor Bitszu here, and welcome to the next installment of How To with Bitszu. In today's lesson, we're going to continue along the theme of basic fundamentals, and today we will be discussing the mob spawner. Alright, let's get on with today's lesson. Okay folks, today we are learning about spawners. Spawners are blocks that generate naturally in the world, and they do what the name would suggest. They spawn mobs into the world for you. We'll be going over the various laws and rules surrounding exactly how they function. A spawner is represented by a block that is a cage with an entity inside of it, and whichever entity that happens to be, that is exactly what it will spawn. And once you approach within the range that activates it, you can always tell because they will burst into flames and the mob will start spinning rapidly. Spawners are generated naturally in the world and can be found in either dungeons, abandoned mine shafts, woodland mansions, strongholds, or in the nether fortresses. When you come across a spawner in a dungeon, there is a 50% chance it will be a zombie spawner, and a 25% chance it will be either a skeleton spawner or a spider spawner. Abandoned mine shafts will have a cave spider spawner, usually surrounded by a large amount of cobwebs. Woodland mansions can contain a spider spawner, also covered with cobwebs, and it is usually found in a hidden room. And they actually spawn in very rarely, or are generated in very rarely. Strongholds that contain an end portal room will have one silverfish spawner, located right beside that. And nether fortresses, blaze spawners can be found there. Typically either up on a balcony or there's a staircase leading up to a little flat area where it will be found. Alright, let's get into the particulars here now. The first thing we need to know about a mob spawner is that mobs will spawn into any block within an 8x8x3 area surrounding it. Now, the way the game actually figures that out is from the block's bottommost northwest corner. So it's actually a little bit lopsided, but if you just think of it as 4 blocks in all directions, 1 block below and 2 blocks above, you're good to go. Now, each of those spaces, the mobs can spawn in them as long as it is below light level 7, and there is actually room enough for them to spawn in. So if you think of this block here as a possible spawning location, the way that will work is that would be where the mob's feet will spawn. And if it is a slime block, it would need to have, say, a 6-block area around it, or if it's a skeleton, it just needs to be too tall. You get the drill. The next thing to know about a spawner is the mob cap zone. This larger pink area around the spawner, which is 5 blocks tall, 4 blocks below, and 9 blocks in all directions from it. If there are more than 6 mobs within this area, it will actually turn off the spawner, and it will no longer function. So when most people find a spawner, they will want to use it as some kind of either a grinder to get the mobs drops, or as an experience farm, typically. So the trick to that is to just move these mobs out of this zone as quickly as possible so that they're not filling up the mob cap, and it will continue to produce more monsters for you. The next thing to cover is player distance. Once a player is further than 16 blocks in any direction, a giant sphere away from the spawner, it will deactivate. But as long as you are within that 16 block radius, it will be constantly active, whether or not you have line of sight, and it will be steadily spitting out mobs. Typically what most players do with a spawner once they have found one is turn it into a grinder. The best way to do that is to just hollow out the area you find around it out to a distance large enough to allow the spawned creature to actually fit just outside the top and sides. And then you want to extend that down to just below the height of said creature. So if it is a 2 high mob, you want it to be 3 below the pink zone, the mob cap zone. That way any creatures that spawn in will just fall out of the area and they will be safely down here, not stopping the mob cap and allowing it to just pump them out continuously. Then from this point, there is a number of different ways to deal with them. You can just simply have them drop all the way straight down until they have fallen enough to take enough damage to kill them outright. You can have water streams push them around to where you need them. All kinds of different designs are possible. But knowing the basic laws of how a mob spawner works, you can basically develop your own. The primary things to remember are just that player distance radius, the mob cap distance, and the spawning zone. Well, today's lesson was a pretty quick one, but this is a fairly simple concept to grasp, although it being one with infinite possibilities. So get out there, find yourself some spawners, and give it a try. Just remember these 3 rules, and you should be able to get all kinds of things happening for you. So at this point, I'm going to say toodly pipski, and as always, if you like what you see, go ahead and smack that like button, and if you want to see more, go ahead and hit that round Bitszu icon to subscribe. Keep your eyes peeled for the future. We're planning on releasing a couple of videos describing my favorite builds as far as mob spawners are concerned, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!